All right, welcome to Yin Yoga. We're going to start off lying down in a Savasana. So, corpse pose to begin tonight. Just lying down, arms down, legs down. And if you need to run and grab some props before you get into your corpse pose, go for it. Right, some pillows or a folded up blanket or a yoga block or some books. Nice to have a variety of sizes and shapes. And then get to your Savasana and relax. You can close your eyes here. Start breathing through your nose, so in through your nose and out through your nose. In Yin Yoga, we hold poses for a bit of a longer time. Sometimes 2, 4, 5 minutes. Including this corpse pose, we're going to stay here for a couple minutes. And the idea is that you create a shape with your body. And then you relax as much as you can. So the shape that you're in right now, just notice if you're holding tension anywhere. If you find any tension, you're going to release it. And just really focusing on that area and taking a nice, long, slow exhale through your nose. You've set aside this time for yourself in about 1 hour. Try to stay present. By present, I mean your mind stays focused on what's going on, what you feel, what you're doing. But especially what you feel. Just going to take a few more breaths here. As you relax, notice your breath. No need to judge or change your breath. Just notice it. Let's take one more nice deep breath together. Inhale through your nose. Full lungs, and then exhale through your nose. Like you're letting gravity pull the air out of you. You can open your eyes if you like, wiggle your toes or fingers a little bit. We are going to, from here, do a reclined twist. So bring your right knee in towards your chest. You can also scoot your hips before you can put the foot back down, and just scoot your hips a little to the right side, or you can keep them right in the center where you had them. But now right leg up, and we're going to bring the knee across. So bringing your right knee across to the left side of your body. Here's a place where you might want to prop under your knee if your knee does not get to the floor. Just a spot for it to rest. So you can start to relax once you get there, relaxing through the hips. And now here, just relax with your arms down side. You can take one hand, the left hand on top of the right knee if you like. Not actively pulling it down, but just like a little added weight there to try to hold it down. So now you're in your shape. Relax through the hips. Trying to keep both shoulders relaxed on the floor. If you've got tightness there and your right shoulder is in the air, you can always stick a prop under your right shoulder too. And now if you like, you could instead extend your arms out, or at least the right arm out to the side. Or you can make the cactus arm, so you're 90-degree angle at the elbow, hand is going kind of up past your head. Or maintain arms at the side. You can turn your head to the right, looking towards the right. And if you make one of these adjustments, right, feel it out. And if you feel like you could get comfortable there and relax, then that's your next step. Breathing through your nose. And notice where you feel this. You might feel it in your hip. Right hip, might feel it in the low back or middle back or upper back. You may feel it many places. Make sure your left leg is relaxed here. And about one more minute on this side. This one very good for your back. And to release and turn your head back to center. Bring your arms gently back down towards your sides. Now using the left hand, and you can bring the right hand across too, but help your right leg back to center. You can scoot your hips back to center. Just bring the both legs down, arms down, back to corpse pose just for a nice deep breath. Now we're going to go to the other side. So you can bend your left knee, scoot your hips over to the left side. Now lift your left foot up off the floor. And now again, gently bring your left knee across to the right side. Adjust your props if you need. Prop the knee up. You can rest your right hand on top of the knee if you like. Or just both arms down side and just relax here. besides this being very good for your spine, we're also starting to warm it up gently, warming up your lower back. Sometimes as you relax, your shape is going to change. And maybe your leg slides, your shoulder twists up. And that's okay. Any of those things are okay. You can use props to help you stay in that shape. That's the idea, is you move your body into one shape. And then adjust some props so that when you release your muscles, your shape isn't going to change so much that you lose that good stretch that you are hopefully feeling. If you wanted to add intensity on this side, same idea. You can bring your left arm straight out to the side. You can make your cactus arm like half of a football goalpost. Or just keep your arms by your sides. You can also turn your head to the left to get your twist into the cervical spine. And now you have your spot. And don't be afraid to change, even if you're there for a minute or two. If it's not the right spot for you, it's never too late to change. When you do find a spot you think might be right, focus on your breath. And letting go of whatever strength you were using to get yourself into this shape. So here you're relaxing the left leg, left inner thigh. Relax your right leg and right glutes. About a minute left, a little less. To release from this, bring your head back to center. Arms back down towards your sides. Always moving gently in and out of the poses. Use your right hand to help your left leg back across. Once your foot's down, you can scoot your hips back to center. Extend your leg, extend the arms. Take a nice deep breath here. Notice how one side might feel different than the other right now. Maybe you feel a little tingling, or circulation might be returning to normal. And then from here, you're going to use your arms just gently coming up to a seated position. So however is comfortable for you to get there. You can roll to the side, whatever works for you. All right, we're going to do a caterpillar next. So legs out in front, And you don't have to contract your thighs. We're not locking knees here. They can bend a little bit. Your feet don't have to be flexed. Sit up nice and tall. And now make sure you're on your sits bone so you feel your sits bones on the floor and not so much pressure on the tailbone. You can do what Nancy did, rock side to side. You can also press into the floor and lean a little forward to get off the tailbone, but just make sure you're not on the tailbone. And now from here, just start to walk your hands forward. Make sure you have some props handy because you might want something here. I'm gonna grab the one I know I'm going to want. Walk your arms forward. So it's a forward fold. You can drop your head. If you feel a lot of tension in the backs of the legs, you can bend your knees a little bit more. But you're trying to find a spot here now where you meet some resistance, and it might be the hamstrings, but more maybe hips or low back. And when you find that spot, right, that's it. So here we're trying to now relax, even though your back is what's supporting you some. You want to relax, so you can grab a pillow or pillows, stuff them under you. You can prop your head up. And then breathe. Now, whether you feel this in the hips or the low back, or the hamstrings, any of those spots is okay. You want to make sure that what you feel is just some discomfort from stretching, and it's something that you can tolerate for a little bit. We're going to stay here for about 3 more minutes. Most of the yin poses, you could close your eyes in the pose if you like. If your mind wandered, just bring it back. And notice where you feel this. You can always adjust. To release this, start to use your arms, your hands, push against the floor and walk and back towards your side. Take your time coming up. And come all the way up to sitting. And move your prop to the side, and we're going to do deer next. So for deer, from this seated position, we're going to go into it different than we did the other day. So you're going to bend your knees, just bring your feet up, kind of shoulder width. And now from here, just going to roll the knees towards the left side. So you're just going to bring both knees over towards the left side. And you might have to widen your stance a little bit, but you're now going to bring this right foot back towards your hip, while the left leg is still bent in front of you on the floor. With the right foot, you can come all the way back, bring it right next to your hip, and sit your hips down on the ground. Or you can bend your foot, the toes point out to the side, think 90-degree angle here. Same idea then, you're trying to work the hip down onto the floor. If you have the mobility, you can open this leg up more, and same thing though, you're trying to sit your hips all the way down. It really depends on the right hip, where is going to be comfortable for you, and also just careful with your right knee. The other end of this, the left leg, you can bring closer in. Gradually, you're going to bring this all the way in till it's all the way around your inner thigh. And now again, the goal here to sit both hips down. You can use your arms for support. And again, you don't be afraid to change this leg, the right leg, if you need to. So deer is a hip opening posture. Hips are the focus. And here you're getting an internal and external rotation of the hips. So the right hip on the side is getting an internal rotation while the left hip is externally rotated. Again, depending on your mobility, you'll feel this in different places. As we're here, just try to relax in the hips. Relax your legs. Got about 1 more minute on this side. To release, lean over to your left side some to let the right hip come up. Bring your right foot back up. And come back into our seated position. Feet are open. And again, you might open up a little wider. Just the same idea, roll them to the right side now. And you can bring your left leg back. Right foot is bent in front of you, and then trying to sit the hips down. So both hips on the ground. And you have the same options here with your left foot. So it's almost like fixed firm pose on the left side is one way to do it. Where your heel is right next to your hip, top of your foot on the floor. Or again, you can turn that foot out, pointing out to the side, and trying to sit the hips back down, or open your leg up more and sit the hips down. So ideally you have both hips down, whichever position you're in. It's okay if it's not all the way there. Use your arms for support if you don't need them, because you can sit comfortably here and relax your hips. You can have your arms wherever you like. For me, I need a little support. Otherwise, it's very hard to relax the left hip. But that's the goal now. Notice how this side feels different than the other side for you. Got about a minute left. So release on this side, lean to your right. Bring that left leg back out. All right, we're going to continue to work on the hips. If you wanted to do a little windshield wiper, you can. Kind of move the hips around. All right, we're going to go into dragon next. So for dragon, I'm going to turn over into a tabletop. You might want some kind of little cushion for your knees in this one, especially if you're not on a soft surface. So for this, we're going to bring left foot forward. You're going to bring your foot kind of between your hands and out so that your foot is past your knee. All right, and then from here, we're going to lean forward, hips forward and down. Right leg is still extended back. Now here, if this is too much pressure on the right knee, you can put a little extra cushion under there, maybe a little pillow or folded up blanket. You can let your body rest on the left thigh with your hands down side. You could also tuck your right toes under in the back if that helps you feel better. Whatever feels good for you right now. This is another hip opening posture. We are working on the hip flexors specifically. So on that right leg extended behind you, that is where you will tend to feel it in this one. And breathe. So this pose also, our arms are our supports. And we are trying to relax through the hips while using the arms for support. Now, if this feels good, you can stay here. You can, if you prefer, back off a little bit and bring this left foot outside your hands for a low flying dragon. So you bring the left foot outside your left leg and do the same thing. You're going to get your body a little bit lower. It'll feel different. Or we're about halfway through our hold here. If you're staying with this first part, you can always lift your body up and do a high flying dragon. The same idea, trying to relax so in the hips. So if you're coming up tall, it's going to be a little bit different to try to get some relaxation in the hips. Just find what works for you. And breathe. Got about 30 more seconds. To release this, ease your hips back, use your hands on the floor to push back. And we're going to bring the left leg back into tabletop. And now right foot coming forward. Same thing, between your arms and bring your foot past your knee. Right, so your shin is angled back towards you. Right, and from here, you can switch your prop under the left knee if you need it. Start to lean your hips down and forward. And again, with the back leg, you can leave it outstretched or tuck your toes under. Your body can rest on your thigh. You're going to feel the stretch in the left hip flexors now. Breathe into it. You can also ease back and take the right leg out wider. So it's outside your right arm. This again is the low flying dragon, generally because your body can get down lower now. Also tend to change the way it feels in the right hip. Again, we're about halfway through. If you wanted to bring it up high, you can lift your body up. Same idea. Leaning into the hips. And going somewhere where you think you can hold it. We've got a little under a minute left. So you want to, that's the idea, is that you want to be able to hold it and hold and feel that stretch. For that whole remaining time. 30 seconds. To release. Hands back on the floor. Ease your hips back. And bring that right leg back. And we're going to go into a child's pose. You can do this with your knees close or open them up wide. But sit your hips back towards your heels. Bring your body down, your head down. You can stretch your arms out in front of you or bring them to your sides. Just make sure your head rests down. You can always prop your head up, but you want to rest down. Relax through your hips. Use your arms and hands to press yourself back up. And coming up to a seated position. So we are going to do kneeling pose next. So knees and feet down, close, sitting up nice and tall. If this is too much pressure on the ankles, you can always lean on your hands and start with your feet just natural. So my heels tend to open up. If that's what happens for you, go for it. Sit up tall, arms rest wherever. And breathe, eyes closed, eyes open, your choice. Position, your belly isn't hanging out, but it's not super tight either. There's some work going on, but not a crazy amount. Lean forward a little bit. If you have your heels open, try to bring them closer together and then sit back down. So you're sitting, you're going to feel your hip bones on each heel, ideally. And now same thing, sit up tall. Notice if this changed the way it feels for your ankles. 30 more seconds here. Opening up the front of the ankles. If you have knee issues, sitting like this for a little while too, gonna get some increased circulation around the knees. Lean a little forward to come off the heels. You can tap your feet around or shake them a little bit. We're going to do a toe sit while we're down here too. So toe sit, I'm just going to stay facing this way to show you, but you want to tuck your toes under. You can try to spread your toes open even. Big toes are close though. You don't have to spread your toes, but so now I'm going to sit back, ease the hips back. You can stay on your hands, just walk them back wherever you can get to until finally you might sit up tall and breathe. Again, going where you can hold this. I'm not going to stay in too long. About a minute and a half more. Stretching the toes, stretching under your feet. You are in control of that intensity, and remember, you don't need it to be the most intense. You just need it to be an intensity where you can hold it for another minute. Without wincing, without holding your breath. If you realize that you're too far, it's no problem to lean a little more forward. Last couple breaths here. And again, lean forward onto the hands. You can shake your feet out a little bit or tap them, whatever feels good. All right, time to lie down again. So we're going to start to wind down with a banana pose. Lying down. And usually this is not one that you'll need much props for, but can always check in and see. We're going to start going over to the left side with your legs. So walk your feet over towards the left side, or right side. Right side of your mat. And then just bring your right foot over the left. So cross at your ankles, right foot on top, right leg on top. And now bring your arms over your head. You can lightly grab your left wrist with the right hand and walk your shoulders a little towards that right side. Shoulders and head kind of walk over. And find a spot where your left shoulder and left hip are on the ground. And you start to feel some stretch in the left side. Now when you're there, now you start to relax. It's okay if your elbows bend some. You can keep your arms long if you like, but it's okay to bend the arms, bend the elbows. Breathe here. feeling this in your left shoulder, through the rib cage on the left side, maybe down by your waist, down in the hips, or down your left thigh. Now you always have that chance, the option of backing off if you feel like you've gone a little too far where you can't hold it. So we are doing 4 minutes on each side. Or maybe you feel like whatever resistance you met has eased. You stayed still, you breathed, and now that resistance has passed. You can always walk your feet a little further to the right or scoot your shoulders a little further to the right. About 1 more minute. Last little bit. You can release your grip on the left wrist. Take your time, walk your shoulders or work your shoulders back to center. Bring your arms down side, uncross your legs, walk your feet, your legs back to center, and just take a couple breaths here. We'll do the other side. So this time walk your feet over towards the left side of your mat. Maybe they even go off your mat. Bring your left foot up over the right. Cross up the ankles. You can always cross the other way. This way I like because the left leg really keeps your right leg there. Whereas the tendency is it'll want to slide back, but this way you get a little extra help. Bring your arms overhead. Gently grab your right wrist with your left hand, and then walk your shoulders over to the left side a little bit. Just scoot them over. Looking to feel some stretch in the right side. And now again, if you settled in a spot And as you relax, you might feel your body leaving the shape you created. You can always adjust and bring it back. Just breathe. Feel your right shoulder on the ground, right hip on the ground. Let your elbows bend. And relax as much as you possibly can. Maybe you can find enjoyment in your stretch here. A little over a minute left. You need to make a little adjustment, go for it. If your mind wandered, it's one more chance to bring it back. Release the grip on your right wrist. Walk your shoulders back to center. And take your time, no rush. Bring your arms back down to your side as you're ready. Uncross your legs and walk them back to center too. And it's time for a final Savasana. So if you want to grab a blanket and cover yourself, or a pillow for under your head, whatever is going to make you feel nice right now, right? Where you can relax and be comfortable. This is always the last pose of class. Once you get to that spot where you're comfortable, even if it means your legs open or your arms are opened or Really, whatever works for you. Once you get there, your goal is to relax. You've been doing it in all these different poses tonight. Now you're doing it in corpse pose. Feel where your body touches the floor. Maybe your heels, your calf muscles, your thighs, your glutes. Notice what parts of your back touch the floor. Notice which, if any, fingers are touching the floor. You're just taking stock, just noticing. No need to change. Notice where on your head touches the floor. And just stay here as long as you like. When you do feel ready to move, do it very slowly. So you'll start with maybe just wiggling the toes or your fingers a little bit. Then the hands and feet. And moving at the wrists and ankles a little bit. Just take your time. Even on the way out of Savasana. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.